Today's Manna. 가스펠라이프 철치 데니얼 김 목사가 보내드리는 시간입니다.
Hello to the friends and family of KCBS. This is Daniel. Welcome to today's Manna. I want to ask you a question here this morning. Have you ever had an incident in your life where you said something out loud and you instantly regret it? This happened to me in the early days of our marriage when I married my wife a couple months ago. And I said something out loud and I remembered that, I probably shouldn't have said that because I knew that those were hurtful words. I believe that words have power. And I don't think that words have power to only offend people, but I think words also have a power to heal people. I remember so many incidents in my life when I was lonely, when I was discouraged, when I needed people in my life. Some wise, short words of encouragement really helped me to rebuild my confidence and also my motivation. I also think about a phone call I had with one of the local pastors in Denver a couple weeks ago. When I was struggling, when I was having a hard time in my job, I gave him a call and he just gave me this wise words of counsel, which really motivated me, which got me back on my feet. Today I want to read you from the book of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21, on the power of the words. It says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits." It is inevitable that words that you and I speak from our mouth has a lot of power. It holds power, and it's a power that brings life, but also the power that also brings destruction. And this is why you and I have to be so cautious when you and I use this thing called words. And I want to share three main takeaways on what the words can do in our life. And the first thing is that words can bring death. The words can bring death, and this is, in fact, a very scary word, especially when you look at James chapter 3. James writes here in this chapter, he compares the tongue to a small spark that can set an entire forest on fire. The things you say, the things that to your spouse and to your friend and to your family, these can actually set fire in their life. And this is why you and I have to remember that harsh words, gossips, and the lies can tear down relationships, damage reputations, and also wound the hearts. Think about the way that the negative words have shaped your life. Maybe some of you have a trauma of growing up in a family where the parents or even the people around you have given you so many negative feedbacks. And this is something that you must remember. The words that you speak to your children, to your coworkers, to your friends can be having a huge impact in their life in a negative way. However, secondly, you and I also must remember that words can also bring life. Encouragement, truth, and kindness, those words can actually build up and heal. And you see that Jesus in the New Testament, he demonstrated the power of life-giving words. The words that were spoken from his mouth were bringing life to the people around him. And when he spoke, the sick people were healed and the sinners were forgiven. And most importantly, the broken people were restored. And this is what the words can do, because words also can bring life into the people that needs the light. Our words have the same potential, just like Jesus did in the New Testament. It allows us to bring healing, bring hope and direction to the people around us. And lastly, you and I are called to choose words wisely. Words can bring death, but also words can bring life. This is why you and I have to choose words wisely. And Matthew chapter 12, verse 36 reminds us that you and I will give an account for every careless word we speak. God, our final judge, is going to listen to all the words that are spoken out from our mouth, and he's going to be judging us on every single careless word that you and I speak. And man, this sounds brutal because, man, when you live our life, talk to your friends, and even in a small text message, we tend to text things without really thinking, right? But something that this verse is reminding us is, man, we have to be held in a higher accountable, choosing words wisely in our daily life. And instead of speaking the things out of anger or even impulse, you and I must pause and ask, will these words bring life, or will these words bring some death? You and I have to have a pause in our life and go slow. And Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29 says this, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up." You and I are called to use the words and choose words to build up the people. You don't want your spouse to feel like they're small. Rather, you're going to use the words to build people up. And the three things that I want to encourage us here today is first, to encourage someone intentionally today. Think about someone who needs encouragement. Think about someone who is pretty hopeless about their future. Man, shoot him a text, give him a call, schedule a meeting, or even over coffee or a meal, and just encourage this person. Try to find this person's gift and encourage this person to exercise their gift. Secondly, ask God to help you guard your tongue and use it to reflect His love. My mother always gave me a wisdom saying, "Son, please take a pause before you speak." And this is a thing that you and I must remember. When you're angry, having an argument with your spouse, with your girlfriend, with your friends, or even with your coworker, take a pause. Let go of your emotion and ask God that He will give you wisdom to cope through the situation. And lastly, when tempted to speak negatively, choose silence or words that uplift instead. God tells us to love our enemies. And there are going to be situations where you think, but Daniel, these people are speaking evil to me. How am I called to speak nicely to others? This is the time you remember that Jesus Christ has died for your sin, even for the people who has mocked Him, even for the people who try to stone Him and throw stuff and spit on His face. He still died for their sins. And we remember His great love, and we choose the words that uplift the people around us.
지금까지 가스펠라이프 처치의 데니얼 킴 목사였습니다. 성경이나 예수 그리스도에 관해서 더 알기를 원하시는 분은 시카고 기독교 방송 전화 847-583 영원 구원으로 연락 바랍니다.